So it's time for another update on my gene therapy project. Now, this is basically going to be a two-part video. In the first part, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing today, and in the second part, I'm going to um, show you some results that I got previously. Uh, these results I'm not going to publish, but I'm going to explain a bit further a bit later what I did. But for right now, I don't know if you've seen my previous video regarding the gene therapy project and what I'm basically trying to do and accomplish right now. If you didn't, of course, the video will be in the description. So right now, as I told you, I want to transfect in some cells 21 plasmids. Actually, there are 23 because I added two more in the last couple of days. But in order to transfect them, I must make sure that the DNA that I'm using is in the right concentration and it's pure enough, right? Um, I don't know if you can see the samples are hidden right now. I'm gonna tell you what plasmids I used later on, but for now on, I don't know if you can see here the concentrations, which are given in nanograms per microliter. For transfection, I basically need like 1 microgram per well because I'm going to use a 24 well plate. So the concentrations are not ideal, of course, but are okay. I told you I don't have any money for a mini prep, so that's why I use the modified mini prep to get this DNA out of my plasmids. Another thing to consider is the absorbances. So DNA is basically considered pure if you have an absorbance of 260 over 280 nanometers at 1.8 or approximately. Let me show you here. So a 260 over 280 ratio of 1.8 approximately is generally accepted as pure for DNA. Because I don't know if you can see here, there are some question marks right here. These are basically plasmids that I mini prepped in the past that I was planning to use, but because I have read them on a nano drop, I I've seen that, of course, the concentrations and most importantly the DNA purity is not enough. So basically, what I did today is I've mini prepped four of my plasmids, four of my previous plasmids, and two more in order to get the right concentration. Yeah, so as you can see here, I have 23 plasmids and I plan to transfect them tomorrow or maybe the day after. That depends on what my cell growth will be. Okay, so this was the first part. Now let me tell you about the second part of the video and what I did in the past. So if you remember from my last video, I basically did a comparison of 7 plasmids in HEC 293 T cells. The problem was that the plasmids that I've tested with the SV40, so this is a promoter derived from a virus, from the SV40 virus. So these plasmids basically did not get transfected at all, and the median fluorescence intensity was basically non-existent comparing to the control. So of course, when you're going to talk about flow cytometry and about fluorescence intensity, all cells, including the transfection reagent that you're going to put in that well, and of course maybe the media, all of them have their own innate fluorescence. So you must compare to the fluorescence must be compared with a control. So you will have one well which will have like your cells to transfect and the transfection reagent, and you'll have a different well with your plasmid with the GFP gene. So you're gonna basically compare these two. So If you see right here, so for the transfection efficiency, the control was 0.88. So the flow cytometer read that 0.88 percent of my cells in the control well were GFP positive. If you can see right here, 1.1, 1, and 1.2. So these are basically very, very similar to the control. So of course, my first thought was, okay, what happened to those plasmids? Did the promoter not get assembled correctly? Do I have a big mutation there? What happened? So what I did, of course, I did a restriction digest on the plasmids, on all of these three plasmids with the SV40 promoter, and the restriction digest came out exactly as it should. The next step, of course, I took some primers, my primers, and I've tried to amplify both the GFP gene and the SV40 promoter from the plasmids that I used for transfection. Okay, PCR exactly the same, was extremely okay, so was very good. So why wouldn't they transfect in HEC293 T cells? Well, in order to test that, to be sure that my GFP and my promoter is working, I've decided to try them. So to try these three plasmids along with one of these probably in another cell line, which the cell line is called HeLa. If you want to know how these cells look, I have a short video with how HeLas can look under the microscope. Okay, so remember, I have basically retested these three plasmids in HeLa cells. So these are the results. If you see here, HeLa transfection efficiency at 48 hours. As previously described, the control, I zeroed the control, right? So the control had a transfection efficiency of 1% on stuff or something like that. Basically, what I did, because I'm not a flow cytometry interpretation guru, I basically subtracted the control from all of these numbers right here. So you can see this one is called EF1A with the BGH terminator. The orange one in HEC293 is the same with that I used in HeLa cells. As you can see, the expression, okay, and the transformation efficiency was extremely high in both cell lines. Because remember, transfection efficiency and fluorescence intensity, so basically the expression of your gene depends not only on the plasmid, the quality of the DNA, the regulatory regions of the plasmid, but also depend on the cell line that you're using to transfect. So let's have a look at these three plasmids right here: SV40 BGA, SV40 BGH, and SV40 SV40. So as you can see, the transfection efficiency, although was not ideal and exceptional, the SV40 plasmids did transfect in HeLa cells, and of course they did present fluorescence in HeLa cells. So this tells me that, okay, my plasmids are okay, are not ideal, of course, for best expression, but are okay. So the reason why these plasmids exactly have not been transfected and do not express in HEC293 cells basically remains to be determined. What I think is happening is because of a region that I'm using in my plasmids called DTS40, which is basically a region which is a part of the enhancer in the SV40 promoter. So this DTS40 region probably, I'm not sure of course, probably interferes in some way with the large T antigen, which is also derived from the SV40 virus in HEC293 T cells. That's why they're called HEC293T, okay? Because of the large T antigen that they are expressing. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys these data also. So my plasmids are good. They are expressing in HeLa cells. The restriction digest was good. The PCR that I did after the promoter and the GFP gene was also good, but for some reason they do not express at all in HEC293 T cells. Okay, so if you want to find out more and if you want to see more updates on what I'm doing, please feel free to comment and subscribe. And don't forget to press that notification bell if you're interested in what I'm doing right here.